Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, I have Christina Hawkins, owner and founder of Moving Marketing Results, with 30 years of experience in marketing and 10 years of government logistics.
Which is crucial for marketing.
Yeah,
Everything you said is the baseline foundation of any marketing, any brand.
right.
First thing I have to look at is exactly the same thing, reviews. So that applies then to the sales.
Like I can tell you,
100%.
I spoke yesterday to a potential customer. It's a company that's in Illinois. They do local and long distance, but they
Mhm.
have other places that they do long distance to as well. So, and they are also they want to switch over for brokers. And I pulled them up and I was happy because I
Yeah.
saw 600 reviews on Google. I was so happy
Like
because
tingling.
usually when you have somebody that's tingling, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Because usually when I see somebody going from working
yeah,
with brokers to coming to us,
yeah,
I see 5 reviews, 10
yeah.
reviews, but
The
something
other,
that's going to be really hard for me to sell. And honestly, I am straightforward with that. I tell them, look, if you want guys, we can certainly work together. But here's the reality. In virtual sense, you do not exist.
yeah,
And since in virtual sense you do not exist,
yeah.
I may be able to book a job for you here and there, but you're probably going to spend a lot more money on advertising and leads and things like that
Mm.
before you're going to see the benefit of having us.
One of the
We
first
need that
things,
plateau. We need that base to get
yeah.
you there.
One of the first things we try to do in our kickoff call, which usually lasts could be 2.5, 3 hours. We spend a
Hmm.
lot of time
Sure.
gathering.
That's
Is
important.
their
It's
past
information gathering.
emails? Yeah, I've got to get all your emails, and it surprises me that they don't have that. They don't have some tool. They don't have smart
Templates. Yeah.
moving.
Hmm.
They don't have some tool to get it. So that puts me at a disadvantage because if I see that low reviews, I'm stuck. I'm relying on them now. But if I can get emails, 200, 300 emails, we'll put a campaign in and try and get 20, 15, 30 reviews over the course of 2 weeks. We don't want to
Sure.
spam it too much, but that's another thing too. When you talk about that technology, I'm always really surprised these guys don't have a proper CRM. Some
Right.
of them have not set
Some
anything
some
up.
are still using Excel spreadsheet.
And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
No, I got a client in California uses a notebook, literally pen and paper. It's
Oh,
just
I
just
met
like that.
there's a company here in Maryland that we didn't end up working with, but that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it
Notebook.
was. I got him on a
Mhm.
CRM. It was like pulling teeth. Got him
Yeah.
in there, but he had to get an assistant to do the actual work. It
Right.
was
And here's
really
the
hard.
reality, guys. We're not telling you to get a CRM because we need it. You
Yeah,
need it. You
yeah,
need it because
yeah,
you need that automation. You
yeah.
need to be able to track where your marketing is going, where your
Yep,
leads are going, what they're doing, what's the percentage, how many are we actually reaching?
yep.
You also, that's also frankly how you see how often we're contacting. So if my sales
Hmm.
reps are not doing what they're supposed to, you're able to have that call with me.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
same
how
thing
I like to
I
keep it.
tell my sales
Salesperson's
reps
not
all the
picking up the
time. The
phone. Yeah.
first place the
Yeah.
company's gonna look if the jobs are not booking, the first place they're gonna look at is us, the sales
Yeah.
team. That's the
Yeah.
first place. So they better find that you did your follow-ups. They better find that you sent you emails. They better
Yeah.
find that the text messages went out.
Yeah. The other
And at
side of
that
that
point,
too
they
is
start looking at lead quality.
right. And the CRM allows you to have that continual communication. So,
Absolutely.
yes, Smart Moving does some really cool stuff, but there's things with the email marketing that I need to establish. So, when somebody fills out a form, I need a follow up email to confirm that you got my message. Okay.
Yes.
A follow up text. Hey, we got your message. We're going to call you in the next 5 minutes. Like, you don't get to wait till the next day. You need to call immediately,
Immediately
especially by a
because
form.
if you don't call them, somebody else will.
It's done. And half the time you call them back, they go, "Who are you?" I mean, instantly.
Yeah.
The other thing is continual. So, my thing too is apartments. Why aren't you reaching out every year? These are 1 year leases. You should have a cadre of apartment complexes that your name is the mover, and then reach out to them a year later on their anniversary.
And if that means
Hey,
you have to offer them some sort of a bonus at the end of the year, offer it.
offer
If
it.
they
Hey,
give you business, it's worth that
they
extra
liked you the
bonus.
first time, they'll use you again. So have that CRM allows you to maintain that top of mind mentality. Because again, you have to have 12, 15, 20 touches before anybody reaches out for you. So if you've spent all that money for that one apartment person or a commercial office mover, or whatever, residential is a little different, but that is key because you want to maintain that relationship with people. And it just shocks the heck out of me that they don't build in some of this stuff, that it's
Yeah.
automated.
Yeah.
You just put a date in of their last
Right.
move.
If you're
1 year later,
serious about creating your legacy, if you're
yeah,
serious about creating your brand, if you're
adding those
serious about
things.
making sure that your company lasts more than one season,
Yeah,
you gotta do all these things. And
yeah.
and frankly, before you jump into it, if you're a
Mhm.
guy that's listening to this, that you're a foreman on a truck, you're thinking about opening a company, maybe you already have, but you haven't done anything under its name, start, frankly, piling cash. Have that extra money because that
Yeah,
stuff it it will cost you money.
it
Is it going
will.
to pay off in the long run? Yes, but you got to have patience and you got to have money to put in. It's not going to happen overnight and it's not going to happen for free.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
What are you seeing, Christina, now, and what prognosis do you have for the future of the moving industry
Yeah,
as
so the
we see
the
it today?
future is obviously AI. I mean, I just had a whole 5 or 6 of my colleagues in the same industry, digital marketing. We spent an hour talking about how AI is affecting marketing,
Sure.
and the question then is, why do I need a marketing agency if I can get AI, Claude, Gemini, whoever to
Hmm.
create whatever kind of marketing strategy?
Right.
I compare that with people using it to build code. So you still have to know if it's fooling you, if it's the right strategy for you, because it's going to spit out what it thinks you want. So you have to be really careful if you're going to use AI. But my role is to double check 30 years experience is like what's worked, what hasn't worked. So yes, you can. It is helpful. I'm not going to deny that. The future of websites are going to be very different because we're all going to get our answers using the AI tools. What that's going to look like in the next 1 to 2 years is going to be changing. But you still need a website. You still have to have the foundations. And when people talk about AI SEO like it's some new thing, it's not. It's SEO, period. There's nothing different except there's some schema code, there's some code to add to websites to help the AIs understand more about your websites, frequently asked questions. Your blogs are definitely helpful, but this is again goes tying back to getting out of your office. It is looking for who is talking about you. So yes, SEO, backlinks, right, all that good stuff. But it wants to see if you're involved in your local area. One tip that I have is, hey, who's the top mover in my XYZ city? It's going to list 5. You ask the question, why didn't you choose my company? And it'll tell you, you don't have this, you don't have reviews, you don't have any certifications. That the future of AI, I just want to caution people from using these tools to create their marketing strategy. You still have to know if it's correct. And the only way to do that is if you've got that experience. My brother is a database programmer, high level, 50 plus years, right? HP. And they are not hiring the junior developers because they think AI is going to do it. They're looking at hiring back the seniors because the code is wrong. It's not working. They still need someone to double check because it's, half the time it's just
Right. And it's the
lying to
same
you.
thing as, AI definitely has a future to it, but I
Yeah.
think it's still a long ways off. Like, for example, I don't think AI is going to replace a moving company call center anytime soon. And the
Mhm.
reason why I don't think it can certainly, it has its place.
I
I
think so
think it
too.
can certainly pick up
Yeah.
calls that that maybe we don't get to fast enough because we're on the phone with another customer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you get 5 leads that come at the same time. So maybe get that automated call letting them know that we got your information. Do you have any additional questions now?
Mm-hmm.
Or should we have somebody reach out to directly? We'll have somebody reach
Yeah.
out to you. Something like that. Something
Yeah.
that lets the customer know that you got their information, you know they're there, you're not ignoring them. Because worst thing that can happen is that when a customer calls your company and the phone keeps ringing.
Yeah, that's well, that twofold on that. One is I would recommend it off hours. I would never install any kind of AI voice inbound for during office hours.
Right.
I'm thinking if you don't have a call center like yourself, you're not there yet, ready yet,
Sure.
then I can see it after hours and weekends, but
Yeah.
the prompt has to be very, very well written because it
Right.
will cause more problems.
Well,
Now,
that's one thing.
one area that I do like it for is outbound voice AI only as a status. Hey, our guys are on the way. They'll be there in 20 minutes.
Right.
That kind of outbound voice AI, I think, is perfect. Following up systems. Hey, we got a claim. We just want to double check, that kind of stuff. That makes sense to me. Someone reached out and said, another moving company, hey, can we use AI voice for a cold call? I'm like, no, do not use your
Nope.
AI voice for cold calling. You're just
Nope.
going to piss people off.
Right.
So
So I think
be
so for
careful.
those of you guys that are considering cold calling, if you're looking at something like Vendover Group, for example, I'm sure some of you have got those calls. So here's the deal with Wendover Group. Are there big jobs there to be had? Yes. But Vendover Group type of calls are as close to cold calling as you're going to get.
Mm.
And realistically, I would not waste my salespeople's time or your salespeople's time for those type of calls. What you want realistically, the best way for you to approach it is to hire some cheap office help.
Mm-hmm.
Philippines are a good place for that. They're not good at sales. Let me be honest to you about that. Philippines, they're good for being virtual assistants. They're good for being customer service. They're good for stuff like that. They're not good for sales.
Right.
Why? Because I don't know if it's a cultural thing that I couldn't speak to. I don't know. But what I have noticed, they're very good at answering basic questions. They're very good at following set of instructions, but that set of instructions needs to be precise.
Yes.
They're very good at booking laid-on jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You give them, oh, it's this much per hour, and custom says, okay. But if you're getting any kind of feedback, any kind of objection that you have to overcome or anything like that, they're lost.
Yeah.
They're not very good in handling things that go off script.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And like I said, I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know enough.
It is. They're very task-based.
Right,
I work with a
right.
lot
So
of VAs
right.
that are
So
in
you know, right.
Philippines.
So then you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what I would do if you're doing something like Wendover Group, you can hire somebody in the Philippines to make those initial calls, to identify the decision makers, to
Mm-hmm.
set up calls with the decision makers.
Yeah.
Now, the calls that you set up with the decision makers for something like that, you could use a salesperson.
Yeah.
But don't waste your salespeople's time and their skill doing cold calling.
No. I
That's
mean,
not
you could look at Brazil because Brazil has a very similar culture. They have that same kind of thought process, that kind of that Western, let me problem solve, let me figure this out for you.
sure.
I've got a couple of programmers. I don't have to even talk to them. They problem solve on their own, and they're in Brazil. So if you really want that type of person, maybe a salesperson, I'm not saying hire some, but that could be an option if you don't want to work some in the Philippines. And
Right.
again, the time zone is very similar too.
Right.
But,
So that's
yeah.
that's what I would say if you're going to go that route. And once again, that's the same thing where when it comes to the AI stuff and after hours stuff,
Right.
you could use those type of options, right?
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you want your sales rep to sell. That's
Mhm.
what you're hiring them to do.
But you have to be aware where AI is. I mean, there's so many tools out there from a marketing
Sure.
perspective that AI can be very helpful with connecting all your different tools together. So I'm not saying don't use it. Absolutely, you should be using it. You should
But you
already
have
have
to
been
figure
using
out
it.
what's the best option for
Right.
what are you trying to achieve?
Right.
What is it that you want? Because there's
Right.
certain, like, for example, I don't know if this is ever going to happen, but AI is not going to be able to tell if the customer is lying to them when they're giving them their inventory.
Mm-hmm.
We, as salespeople that do this job every day, we
Right.
can tell when the customer is withholding information.
Why
We
would they
can
do that?
tell what it sounds.
Why
We
would they
can
do that?
Yeah, we can tell that they're being vague or they're just being elusive or something like that. AI is not going to be able to tell that.
No. Mm-mm.
Eventually, one day, maybe they can pick up on speech patterns and
Now
things like that.
it can pick up if they're agitated.
Right,
It can hear that,
right,
especially if they're cursing, but they can sense that because there is a prompt in there. If you sense agitation, there's some other words. Ask it if they want to speak to a human. So again, going back to the prompt, you have to be really, really careful.
right,
But yeah, you're right. It's not going to tell if they're lying or not. They're just gathering data,
right. And
really.
when we're trying, and when our goal is to give an accurate estimate,
Yeah.
we need to be able to we need to be able to have an idea that's something like
Yeah.
I put it in notes for customers saying, okay, sounds like customers withholding something,
Yeah.
sounds like this is going to be a much bigger thing that they're letting on. Be prepared.
Yeah. I'd say another mistake to go back to that is to put all your eggs in one basket and not diversify.
Sure.
So I get a lot of people that are like, we're just doing SEO. I'm like, well, first off, SEO nowadays is not only is it super competitive, but your SEO rankings are being pushed down and pushed down and pushed down. So you got Google local service ads, paid ads, knowledge base, a map with another sponsored ad, a knowledge base, and then finally, maybe there's a little stickler in the mirror of number one. So you can't just do SEO. You have to diversify. You've got to get your name out there, paid ads. I'm
Right.
not a
Keep in
fan of
mind too,
Facebook
SEO
ads.
takes time. Keep in mind too, SEO takes time.
Months. And if it's competitive like California or Florida or Texas, minimum 6 months. And then even then, you're maybe number three, number four, took a year. Because you look at some of these guys, these are spending millions of dollars to get up there. Two men in a truck, those guys, bam, right up on the top. They're not hiring, they got in-house 30 people doing that. So the idea of you're going to compete with them, you can't compete with them. You've got to figure out either your Google map, or again, pay to play. But again, you got to diversify, and you can't just solely rely on the digital marketing. So we do something called retargeted postcards. So if you go to the site, if I can get a cookie and get your address, I'll immediately send you a postcard. So that's a touch, multiple touches. But I will say, people have asked me if they should do Facebook ads. I'm not a fan of them. I think it's like a big wide net, hoping and praying that somebody might reach out, unless you're targeting real estate agents, right?
I
Or
think
maybe
I think some of these things too depend on the market that you're in.
if it's a
So a
little
lot of that stuff,
market,
because it's kind of the same thing.
maybe.
Like in the past,
Yeah.
it was if you used one lead provider in one state versus in a different state, it
Yeah.
might hit you differently.
Yeah, exactly. I just had
So
someone I spoke to in Mississippi. We were talking about he's number one already in all the phrases, but he's got 20,000 people in the county. I'm like, dude, you can't grow. There's just not enough people where you live. You have to expand. You have to go into other parts of Mississippi that have 50, 60,000. You're gonna have to have other locations.
right,
So you have to think about, if you're doing SEO, great. Hey, but you're not getting enough leads
right,
to really grow.
right. And
You
sometimes,
have to,
honestly,
you have
sometimes
to.
maybe the area you should look at some of the different areas because either there's
I'm
too much
saying,
competition where you
yeah.
are, or
Mhm.
there's simply not enough business where you are.
That's
So
what
you
I'm
got to
saying.
look at those things too. So it's
And
sometimes that
and let
makes a
me
big difference.
let me add, when people talk, oh, my brother, my cousin has a house up there, I'm like, nope, 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 nope. You have to get a physical space that you can put your sign up, park your truck outside, because Google is not going to confirm that Google
Not
list.
these days.
And you have to show your address. You
And
can't hide your address and have a
and
service.
don't pay somebody in India or Bangladesh to
It won't
do
work.
reviews for you.
No,
Google
you will get
busts you
banned.
now.
Yep, you will get
You will
suspended.
get hit and you'll
Yep.
waste that money.
Yeah. So you
And
have
you're going
now,
to be banned for a minute too.
there's a bit of a hack. If you go to Facebook Marketplace and you look for office for rent, you can find people that have like a little office space that they're selling for $300, $400, $500 a month, and get a physical location. Have your bills go there, because Google is going to absolutely use video, true video. You can't do it any way. Phone calls don't work. Postcards aren't happening. They want absolute video and proof that you're physically in that space, and you have to show your address. That's just You can't get away with it being in your home office anymore. You can't do that. And these guys now will actually make you get in your truck. It's a branded truck. They're going to make you open the door, get in, turn the truck on. They're going to make you unlock the door, walk in, and turn the printer on. There's a lot to this. So you can't just have your cousin's apartment and use that address in some other location. There's time and money you're going to have to spend to get another proper location. And if you haven't done that, that would be the number one thing I would tell people to do if they haven't done it, is get a physical location with an address, because that Google local map I was telling you, paid ad, map, and then organic below. So this is really important to have that map show with all those reviews that we talked about. That's the way it is now. I don't see that changing the next few years. So that's diversify your marketing, get out there.
Absolutely. Well, Christina, I think we've discussed a lot of really good things here. So we'll see. This may be one full, or we may need to split it into two. We'll see how it goes. So you guys may hear this being one, or this being the second one, but you may hear this in two portions. We'll see how it goes time wise. But we're going to make sure we have all the links here for Christina, and please please subscribe, please watch the podcast, please. Do all of that. Oh, we got a book also.
I got a book. I forgot my
She got a book. She got a book, so we can talk with. We got that as well. So, like I always say, the world moves on its own. So let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.